Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So as you may have seen from my last video, I watched a movie called Blood Freak. It's a Thanksgiving horror movie. I liked it so much that I decided that I should watch more Thanksgiving horror movies. So that's exactly what I did. Today I watched a movie called Home Sweet Home. It was made in 1981, directed by a lady this time, Nettie Pena. Alrighty, let me give you the rundown on Home Sweet Home. Starts off with this man chilling in his car. "Hey, you want a beer?" he says to the man he sees walking by. "Rah!" says the man and murders him.
"Hey, you want a beer?"
Meanwhile, on the car radio, we hear that there's been an escaped patient from the mental asylum, and he may be addicted to PCP.
And he could be on PCP.
Then, he's driving down the road, and there's this little old lady in the road that drops her groceries, and he goes, "Rrrr!" and hits the lady. Bang! Home Sweet Home. We see on his wrist, he's got the tattoo, Home Sweet Home. Then we're at the Bradley household, which is this really interesting, like, ranch style house that seems to be out in the country of I don't know where. But the house is really cool because some rooms are connected through hallways, but also you have to walk outside to enter other, like, bedrooms. I was a little confused. Like, I couldn't tell if it was, like, made to be, like, a motel and now it's just privately owned by a man, or if it's an apartment complex or what. But they have, like, stained glass windows that are really beautiful. So the Bradleys are the family that own the beautiful ranch-style house. They're throwing a Thanksgiving party. The attendees are Mr. and Miss Bradley, of course, but I don't think they're married, actually. I think Mr. Bradley might be a divorcee or whatever, because at one point the wife mentions that the teenage boy is her boyfriend's son, so.
Where did your boyfriend get a son like that?
I don't know, but I tell ya, when I get my hands on that little twit, I'm gonna murder
I don't
him.
blame you.
Oh, gosh, I tell you.
I could use a Valium.
Mr. Bradley has his son, Mistake Bradley. Yes, that's his name, Mistake Bradley. He has, like, mime, punk rock, face paint. He likes to play the guitar, and he's a total pervert. They also have the cutest girl in the entire world, Angel, as their daughter.
I love you
I love you too.
more than your guitar.
Yeah, more than my guitar.
I just don't know anybody's names in this movie except for the little girl, Angel.
And this is Angel.
Well, hello. You're so pretty.
That's just how it is. They don't really say their names that much.
Angel, the prettiest girl.
Then we have this curly-haired guy with a mustache who has the most beautiful girlfriend, but he doesn't really treat her that well because she doesn't speak very much English. He kind of just sees her as, like, a hot babe
Bradley, she's hot. Really hot. A jalapeno.
and doesn't take her very seriously. She has this beautiful singing voice and loves to play her guitar. But the boys just kind of see it as a shtick that she does, where they're just like, ha 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 ha, keep your day job, hon.
Don't give up your day job, honey.
Then we have the beautiful blonde who has, like, the super 80s, like, bangs into, like, layers scoop haircut going on. Very 80s, very gorgeous. She never wears a bra, so we just get those hard nips the whole movie. Love her for that.
And who is this lovely dish? This is Jennifer.
She has a very boring, normal boyfriend that has brought her to the ranch. And that's it, y'all. That's all the characters that are in this movie pretty much, except for the cops that we meet later on. Whenever we first get to meet the guests of this Thanksgiving dinner party, you know, we have all of the couples, they're horny for each other because they're all in love with their significant other. And we see each couple have their own little sexy time, and each couple get interrupted by the pervert teenage son. And it is just so weird. Like, first off, we have our blondie babe and her boring old boyfriend making out in the car, dirty talking. They're about to get into it. The punk rock son is just walking around, and then he sees them and he starts like perving on them.
This is a mistake. A mistake that's about to be corrected.
And then he does that to the curly-haired man.
How dare you touch the woman I love?
Oh, man.
Worst of it all is that he barges in on his dad and his dad's girlfriend.
Oh, wow. My lucky day. 2 for the price of 1.
Ew, that could be your stepmom. Like, I really just don't understand the attraction there, and he's so gross. So gross. So it's Thanksgiving Day, everyone's getting acquainted, they're cooking in the kitchen. One of the women
Hi, I'm Gail.
are like, by the way, somebody forgot to buy the wine.
I hope it's not wine, because someone I know forgot to pick it up at the store this morning.
Mrs. Bradley is like, oh my gosh, the wine. I have to go to the store and get the wine.
Oh, I guess I've got time to make it to the store. Bradley, darling, give me the keys to your car.
Sure.
Wait, I'll go with you.
As the ladies are on the road, the psycho killer sees the ladies and is like, I'm gonna check out where they're coming from. And he finds the ranch. So now he is stalking the Bradley Thanksgiving dinner guests. Power went out because the psycho killer came, and he's like, dee. It's the first thing that psycho killers do is they cut the power, so you're blinded and at a disadvantage. Which never makes sense to me, because aren't the psycho killers also at a disadvantage in the dark? Anyways, they have a backup generator because they're on a rich farm. But the backup generator, I guess, is unreliable. It's just all this nonsense.
It's okay, though. I got an emergency generator outside. Well, I gotta tell you, man, what's gonna happen is that it'll get us lights, but it won't get us a television set.
But whenever Mr. Bradley goes out to check on the generator and get gas,
It's almost dark, and we got enough gas in that generator to last for about 3 or 4 hours. I think I'm gonna take a run on up to the gas station and get something before it closes.
guess what he does? He doesn't go to the gas station like he says he is. He's driving down the street, sees that there's a car parked on his property, and decides, you know what? I'm gonna steal gas from this car. And he looks in the car, he's like, hello?
Hello.
And we know that there's somebody there. It's the psycho killer in the bushes watching him. Mr. Bradley's like, well, nobody's here. Goes to his car, gets a bucket, and gets a tube. Sticks the tube in the strange car's gas cap and siphons the gas. And we're just like, okay, Mr. Bradley, you're a bit of a bad boy right now. And he just wasn't satisfied with the gas, because once he puts the gas in his own car, the car doesn't start.
Damn.
And he's like, oh man, my battery's dead. I'm gonna steal his battery. Opens the hood and it's like unconnecting the wires or whatever.
Daddy needs a new pair of shoes. He'll settle for a battery.
But then the psycho killer jumps out of the bushes and wrestler body slams the man on top of the car. Hood crushes and kills him. I would say instantly, but it wasn't instant. Back at the ranch house, everybody's getting pretty hungry, and so they're setting up dinner. Everything's cooked already, and they're like, now where could they be?
I don't believe Bradley's not back yet.
Well, you know, Bradley's been having a little trouble with his battery. I wouldn't be at all surprised if he stopped to replace it up at the gas station.
The ladies have been gone to the store for a long time, and everyone's wondering where they are.
Linda and Gail should be back by now, though.
when the dope finally realizes, oh, I forgot to tell the ladies that the tank is empty. So they must have broken down and ran out of gas.
Damn it! I forgot to tell them about my gas gauge. I bet they've run out of gas.
And it's just like, dang, all y'all have car troubles.
Scott, you and I'll go find him.
Now you go ahead. I'm gonna stay here with the troops. I don't want to leave them here without a man around.
Are you sure you don't have problems with your car, too?
It may be a gas guzzler, but it runs like a top.
Okay, not very reassuring, but good luck out there. Then we see the two ladies that went out to buy wine. Well, they've bought their wine, but now they're lost, and they don't know the way back to the ranch.
I can't believe we're lost.
Typical women, getting lost, don't know how to read a map. But I will mention, I paid attention, and this movie does pass the Bechdel test because although they mostly only talk about men.
Definitely bad karma.
Does he use that for an excuse very often?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, he has.
At one point, they do talk about how they're lost and don't mention the men.
Now, let me look at that. Go straight down here, we'll hang a right. That looks familiar. Come on, let's go for it.
I hope so. I'll keep an eye out.
All right, we may need it.
Anyways, then they get pulled over by two police officers, and the driver lady is like, don't worry, hon, I got this. Takes her jacket out, puffs up the boobs, and is like, officer, what's wrong, officers? What did I do wrong?
Let's go for it, okay? I don't need a ticket.
Hi.
Yes, sir. Did I do something wrong?
And the man officer with the flashlight, he's like shining it on the tits, and he's like, oh, you were like speeding, and that's really dangerous. And she's like, well, can't I just get off with the warning?
Can't you guys go easy on her? She really has had a tough day.
I don't know about that. The other officer who's looking at the other girl is like, hey, I really think we should be giving these ladies a warning, don't you think? And the other officer is like, all right. Then they walk away and they're like, oh, they're so sexy, those ladies. Did you see they had wine? If we hang out, they'll let us hit.
Our lucky night.
Yeah.
Did you see the chick with the big bazooms?
We see the driver lady who was batting those eyelashes at the officer go from smiling to frowny face as soon as the officer walks away. And I'm just like, girl, you're gonna talk about how you put on that flirtation chip just to get out of a ticket. And she does say something like that, but also they're like, oh my god, those guys were so hot. Like, which one would you like?
Did you see those two cuties?
And at that point, I was like, okay, female director. Like, the men are horny, but also the ladies are horny in this movie, too.
I wish those cute cops would come by and pick us up now.
Right now.
Take us into seductive custody. I am frozen.
It just really fucking annoyed me that there is, like, a 4-year-old little girl in this household, and the parents are gone. Nobody really cares to watch Angel. Aside from that one magic trick her older brother does, nobody seems to give a fuck about where Angel is. Everyone else is just like, oh, they'll take care of her. Somebody else will take care of her. Somebody else. And I'm just like, hello, where is Angel? Where is Angel? Because I know I'm watching a horror movie, and I don't know how far this horror movie is gonna take things. So that is stressful because, you know what? Sexy blonde lady's boyfriend is like, hey, I never got a chance to show you my room.
What do you say when we get back to unfinished business?
Meanwhile, you know, Mr. Older Brother over here is too busy trying to get in the guitar playing lady's pants.
At last, we get to make music together, senorita.
So he's like, hey, like, let's play a song together. They're playing a song. Meanwhile, I'm like, where is Angel? And we get a scene of the killer, like, walking in the house, and we see, like, a camera closing up on, like, Angel, who's clearly very hungry because it's dark outside at this point. She still hasn't had her dinner, and she's got like a kitchen knife and she's trying to eat the turkey. Angel is so hungry she's resorted to cutting her own turkey, and we see the killer sneak up behind her. Then we see a scene of the two ladies who have just been pulled over by the police officers. They drive off. The car won't start.
We didn't run out of gas, did we?
I don't know if it's that or the battery.
Because there was no gas in the car, remember? And the lady's like, hope you brought your hiking boots because we're gonna have to walk home.
Hey, kid. I hope you got your hiking shoes. I think we better walk the rest of the way. This thing isn't gonna start.
We're gonna walk back to Bradley's ranch?
And they get out of the car and they walk home. And at this point, you're just like, no, don't walk home. But they walk home and we know their fate. You know, the only reason I was so invested in these two ladies is because one of them is Angel's mother. She's already lost a dad. So I was rooting for her. But no, the killer hunts them both down and kills them. People in this movie, they just don't know how to fight back. I mean, the killer really is a big hunk of a man, but I just think that these ladies could have been using their brain. The one lady gets picked up and thrown around because he's fucking Hulk, and she dies. The other lady's like throwing things at him. She doesn't do that good of a job of running away, okay? Not to victim blame, but you guys know how these horror movies are. She's like running and hiding, getting scared by trees, falling on the ground just so the killer can stab her. It's just so frustrating. Back at the ranch, you know, everybody's done with their little sexy pursuit, i.e. the blonde lady gets it in and she's like, have you seen Angel? And so everybody is like, where's Angel? Angel! They go into the dining room where they laid out the Thanksgiving dinner and it is trash.
Wow. It looks like the boogeyman has been here.
The food is all strewn, the turkey is destroyed, and then we see from under the table 2 child legs poking out, and we're like, no! But guess what? They just peek under the cloth, and Angel's under there, eating turkey with her bare hands, because that's how starved and neglected she's been all night.
You couldn't wait, could you?
So thank God he spared Angel for the time being. So at this point, nobody's come back to the ranch, and instead of worrying, they're just like, meh, they're probably at the bar getting drunk.
Now, Bradley and Wayne, them I'm not worried about. I mean, they're probably off at some bar watching the football game.
Nothing should stop us from this Thanksgiving dinner, right? So they all sit down to eat their Thanksgiving dinner, which looked like it had been destroyed before, but when they're eating it now, it looks like it's in pretty good condition. So I'm just kind of like, continuity error, you guys. Mr. Mime Guy thinks he can really lay out the moves now that the beautiful lady is alone without her boyfriend. So he's like, "M'lady, would you like some salad?"
Oh, how about a yummy yam? Would you like one? Mm-hmm. And to touch it off, some rosy red raspberry cranberry sauce.
I see.
He spills gravy all over her shirt, and she's like really offended. I would be too.
She's so Latin, I don't believe it.
He takes her to the bathroom, but really he tries to take her to his bedroom.
I got even a better idea. Come into my
No,
bedroom and
quiero
I'll
ir al baño.
pretty sure.
El baño.
He takes her to the bathroom, finally, where she's rinsing off her shirt, opens the shower curtain, sees a dead body, and she's like, but then the killer's in there with a knife. And then Mr. Mime goes to check on her, and he's like, if you make a sound, I'll kill her.
Make a sound. And I'll kill her.
And then they do this little walking game where the killer has her with the knife against her throat, and Mr. Mime is there with his guitar just following him. Please don't kill her, please. And I'm just like, dude, do something. You're so fucking dumb. You have your guitar. Why don't you smash it over his head? Because at some point the killer takes the knife away from her throat to be like, my mother was always a slut.
Women are no good. Only cause you problems, man. My mother was no good like that! Crazy!
Dude, take your guitar, smash him in the head. And he does nothing. So, of course, all exposed in her bra, the one woman who isn't white gets stabbed in the chest. Then the mime runs away like the coward he is. But don't you guys worry, because he gets his comeuppance in the most gruesome death in the whole movie, okay? I don't know where this electricity comes from. They don't really show us. I don't know if it's cords from the generator. I don't know if it's from some cords hooked up to jump a car. I don't know. The killer has some cable that he hooks up to the mime's electric guitar, and the man goes and dies. So now, the only people left in the movie are Hot Blonde, her boyfriend, and sweet little angel baby. And the killer, of course. So they're still eating Thanksgiving dinner. Angel's passed out with their head on the table because it must be like 10 or 11 or 12 o'clock at this point. And the boyfriend's like, hey, didn't the guy say the generator only runs 3 to 5 hours? I better go get us more firewood. He goes out there. We know exactly what's gonna happen. But they actually trick us a little bit, because instead of going outside to say, get murdered, he runs into the lady who got stabbed in the chest, and she's dead on the ground.
Oh, God. What's going on around here?
Which isn't the reaction I would have if I saw a dead body. He runs away. I'm just like, why didn't you check for a pulse and see if she could be okay? You know, he kind of just leaves her for dead. She probably is dead at that point, but you never know. So he runs back screaming for his girl, Miss Blondie. And she's like, what is it? And he's like, the sun. He must have gone crazy and killed that lady. And I liked this part because I would have totally suspected the pervert kid too. Even though at this point we know, it's obviously the psycho killer and not the teenage son. It's very realistic that they would think the teenage son murdered her.
God, the kid seemed a little weird, but he didn't seem crazy.
So now they know that there's a killer on the loose. So Mr. Boyfriend's like, I'm gonna go lock up all the windows and doors. You go by the fire with Angel. She has Angel in her arms. I'm like, finally, you guys are focusing on Angel for a change, because up until now, you guys are just perfectly content to let her wander about the house with no guardian. She, again, leaves Angel in the kitchen. The boyfriend is getting knives, and she's like, what do you need those for? Okay, I know you're blonde, but you're not dumb. You guys already know that there's a killer on the loose. Why are you asking him why he's getting a knife? And why did you leave Angel again? And the boyfriend is like, where's Angel? And she's like, don't worry, Angel's by the fire.
What's that for?
In case we have to defend ourselves. Where's Angel?
Oh, she's in the dining room by the fireplace.
Hello. Even if she's by the fire, you guys think that her brother is the killer. We've already seen her say I love you to her brother, so don't you think if she was by the fire alone and saw her brother that she would go to him? They're all huddled up by the fire. Angel has to pee.
I'm not leaving this fire. Honey, you just went to the bathroom.
And Angel's like,
I have to go to the bathroom.
and I'm like, you better tell her again that she can hold it, because we did just see Angel go to the bathroom. So Angel, why are you being so dramatic right now? You guys are sitting in the dark. Everyone is clearly talking about dead bodies and scared. Angel would be scared too. I have a hard time believing that Angel, the 4-year-old, wants to walk down that dark hallway to go to potty. No, she would be holding it, okay?
But it's dark down there. You sure you won't be scared?
Boyfriend is like, don't worry, I'll take Angel to the bathroom. Now listen, honey, it's gonna be dark, but it's gonna be okay. What do you know? They walk down the hallway and the killer gets them.
We'll just walk over here. It's okay.
The killer attacks him, but then Blondie runs up with the fire poke and starts hitting the killer. It's doing nothing because he's on PCP. So she takes his knife and stabs him in the back. And she's like, no! 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 And he's like, come on, let's get out of here. And they run, and they keep running. And I'm just like, Angel, you guys, Angel, have you forgotten about Angel again? And eventually she's like, wait, Angel! Angel! Stop! And starts running back to the house. He's like, don't worry, honey, I'll go get her, you stay here. He goes to get her, and the killer's still alive and kills him. She's like,
Now stay there! I'll be right back!
and runs away instead of committing to getting the child. At this point, I'm fuming. I'm fucking fuming because they clearly do not care about this little girl. She goes and hides in a cabinet, faints from fear because the killer, is hunting her down, trying to find her, looking through all the closets. Next thing we see is the next day, the police officers stumble across one of the dead bodies. They're like, we need to go to the ranch.
Is she dead? Yeah, looks like it. Hadn't been here too long, Tom. You better load that thing up.
Yeah, you got that right.
We see the lady wake up, and she's very quietly trying to escape from her hiding spot. This I appreciated because I'm like, it's a dumb horror movie, but at least she still has some logic. Just because it's daylight outside, she is not gonna risk being noisy and thinking everything is okay now, She is still very much acting like the killer is still in the room with her. So she gets out and is walking around the ranch, and then jump scare, the killer is still alive and tries to kill her. But at that point, the police roll up, have a little shootout. The lady is just like, ah! And is in such a state of shock with the police officer. I'm thinking over here, she's gonna tell the police officers there's a little girl hiding inside. Nope.
Come on, it's the police. Come on now, come on.
And I'm just like, what about Angel? But come to find out, Angel actually is the whole reason why everything is okay. The whole reason Miss Adult Blondie gets her ass saved in the end is because Angel, instead of hiding away and passing out, escaped.
We found a little girl wandering on the highway. Found a gas station attendant knew where she lived.
Angel, the 4-year-old, saves the day. And, at the end of the movie, we see the killer open his eyes because, of course, after multiple stab wounds and shots, the killer always comes back in the end. But that's the end. There's not very much blood or gore in this movie. The violence, happens pretty quick. And even when a woman gets stabbed in the chest, there's barely even any blood whatsoever. The only time we see blood is whenever we see a dead body in the shower. My favorite death scene, I would have to say, is the body slam onto the man under the hood of the car. So the acting in the movie. The acting wasn't nearly as bad as it was in Blood Freak, unfortunately. Everyone was pretty decent acting-wise. I believe that they were all their own person. It was just missing some charm.
All we did was give this guy some turkey.
And there wasn't very much suspense, I will say. I got pretty bored at the halfway mark in the movie whenever he's just hunting down and killing the Thanksgiving party guests. They didn't build the suspense. So overall, I liked this movie even though it's slow at times. I liked that it's one of the few Thanksgiving horrors that are directed by a woman, perhaps the only. So for that, I give it 6 out of 10 turkeys. Hi, I'm back. back. It's the same day. I just watched another movie, so I thought I'd update you guys. The movie I watched is called Blood Rage. Not to be confused with Blood Freak. You see, Blood Rage, it came out in 1987. Although I did read it was filmed actually in 1983. Alrighty, so the beginning of Blood Rage starts out with Mommy Maddie going to the drive-in theater with her boyfriend and her 2 little boys in the back. While they're at the drive-in theater, they do what many drive-in theater guests do and start to get a little bit sexy. She's like, "Oh, but the boys." And her boyfriend's like, "Don't worry, they've been asleep for an hour."
The boys. Look, they've been asleep for half an hour now.
She looks back to check on her boys, and they're fast asleep in the back. She's like, "Oh, my boys," and then goes back to making out with her hubby. Meanwhile, the boys wake up, and they're like, "Mom's getting it on again. Let's get out of here."
Mom's at it again. Let's get out of here.
So they sneak out the back while they're too busy in the front to realize. So one of the twin brothers finds a hatch axe looking thing and murders a man who's in his car at the drive-in movie theater.
Get out of here, creep. Hey, get out of here. What are you doing? Get her off. Beat it.
He then smears blood on his brother Todd's face and hands him the murder weapon. Meanwhile, the mom is like, "Oh, I just heard somebody scream. Let's get out of here."
I thought I heard somebody scream.
So they start to get out, and she looks back and she's like, "Oh, my boys! Where are my boys?"
Oh my God. My boys are gone.
And they run out and they find the boys covered in blood.
Jerry, you were right. What happened? You just hurt that person. You just hurt him. John!
And that's the beginning of Blood Rage. Then it's 10 years later. The boys are about 20 or so years old. Terry's gone to college and grown up living a normal life. Todd has been raised in the mental institution because everyone believes that he's crazy and committed murder when he was a young boy. But at this point in his life, Todd has a very close relationship with his therapist, and she starts to narrate for us a little bit.
The trauma of watching his twin commit murder had made Todd catatonic. In that state, he couldn't fight what he now sees as punishment for a crime he did not commit.
And explains to the mom that she believes Todd is truly innocent. She suspects Terry to be the real murderer all along, which we know is true. The mother refuses to believe this.
After 10 years, Todd was starting to remember what had happened in the drive-in that night. Facing the fact that Todd's memory of the incident cast suspicion on his twin brother Terry was not that easy for her.
On Terry?
So then it's later on in the day. Terry is playing sport at school and his girlfriend Karen is there.
I think I got you.
And they're just kind of having a little flirtationship. And then we see the neighbor, Julie.
You must be Terry. Your mom's told me all about you. I'm Beth, your new neighbor. This is Andrea. She's just home from college, too.
So the mom, Maddie, had invited the new neighbor, Julie, and her mother over for Thanksgiving dinner tonight.
Why don't you play football with us?
I don't really know anybody, Terry, yet.
Then it's Thanksgiving dinner time, and everyone's having a grand old meal, okay? The mother makes a special announcement for everyone that she is going to be marrying Brad. And we get a look at Terry, and he does not look happy about this.
We're gonna tie the knot.
But he's like, "Well, why don't we make a toast? Hey, you can cut the turkey now that you're the man of the house.
Well, seeing as how we have a new head of the family, I think it's time you started pulling your own weight around here.
Thanks, buddy.
You know, being a little bit aggressive towards Brad. Also, we see some tension at the dinner table between Karen and Julie.
Then all I want to do is party and play tennis.
You play tennis?
Yeah.
Well, we should play sometime.
Great.
Because Julie mentions to Terry that after dinner she's gonna be babysitting all alone next door and he should come by.
Why don't you come by? I'm gonna be so bored.
Well, I'd love to.
Great.
Like, why are you telling this other girl that you're gonna come by later tonight? Anyways, the mom goes to get the biscuits for dinner and she's like, Terry, will you come in here? And so he does. And she's like, don't mention it to everyone because I worked so hard to make this Thanksgiving dinner perfect.
I just don't want to spoil things. I mean, it is Thanksgiving and everyone's been looking forward to the dinner so much.
But I just got a call and your brother has escaped the mental institution.
They can't find Todd.
What do you mean they can't find Todd?
She's like, they suspect him to come here. The doctors are on their way. We just need to stay here and, you know, cooperate. Whenever Terry returns to the dinner table with the biscuits, the first thing he does is mention, hey, my brother escaped from the mental institution tonight.
Everything okay?
Hot bread, everybody.
Looks like you're gonna get a chance to meet the rest of the family. My psychotic brother just escaped.
Wow, way to play it low key. So after that, dinner's pretty much over, and new fiancé Brad is trying to step it up, you know? He's like meeting with the doctors, he's like, I'm gonna go to my place of work in case he goes there, and you guys will be able to contact me. He does that.
Hey, I'm Brad King. I'm the manager here. Maybe I can be of some help.
Yes, would you please help me?
Sure. Listen, I'm going to take care of them, and then I'll be down in my office. Now, you stay here, and don't worry, I won't be long.
And at this point, Terry starts to really be thrown off the deep end. You know, I think it really was the announcement of the engagement that incited all of this rage, but then I think hearing that his brother escaped, it might have been the perfect opportunity for him to start killing again because he knew it wouldn't be pinned on him. So Terry starts to go cray-cray. He goes and he kills his stepdad, Brad.
Well, look what the cat brought in.
He kills the psychiatrist woman. He kills the poor old male nurse who's just trying to smoke a joint, offers him some joint.
Dr. Berman told me to relax, so I was relaxing. Hey, you want a hit? Sure.
Gets killed for it. Come on, dude, have some class.
It's not cranberry sauce.
Todd has found his way home and he's trying to, you know, look in and not startle anyone. He comes across Terry's girlfriend Nancy, and it's very clear to us at this moment that Todd is suffering from the years of spending his adolescence in the mental institution. He's very socially awkward. He's like,
You seem nice. I've never kissed a girl before.
and she realizes that it's not Terry because they look just alike. Hello, they're twins. She thinks it's Terry.
I'm not Terry. I'm Todd.
Terry's brother? Oh my God.
And she gets totally weirded out, runs away, and tells all her friends.
Tell me what happened tonight with Terry's brother. Did you kiss him or what? No way.
At first I thought it was Terry, but he seemed strange. Then he came out of the shadow and I realized it was his brother. And then he told me he's never kissed a girl before.
Oh, how creepy.
Terry starts to kill all of his friends off one by one.
That isn't cranberry sauce, Artie. that is not cranberry sauce. I see him.
Where?
Over there.
Where is...
Or shall I say 2 by 2, because he likes to catch them in the act, if you know what I mean.
You stop that. Bad, Greg.
Meanwhile, the mother is a nervous wreck, and she is the stereotypical nervous mother, all those stereotypes you can think of. She's pacing around, she's stress eating Thanksgiving dinner on the kitchen floor, she's stress cleaning, she's drinking bottles and bottles of wine and passing out from how drunk she is, calling everyone she knows, calling the wrong numbers, and just freaking out. But as cliche as it is to reduce a woman down to the housewife stereotype, the mother, Maddie, she holds this movie on her back with her acting skills. Like, she is just giving everything she can. And I was like finding it odd just a little bit in the movie, and this was before I had finished the movie, obviously. I was interpreting all that nervousness as, you know, I'm so worried my son escaped the mental institution and he's just out there in the cold, like, where is he? I'm worried about him. And part about her emotion, I'm sure, is that. But also, whenever she's speaking, the only person she's speaking about is Brad.
Find Brad. He's probably out looking.
It's just like she goes out and she finds Brad is dead. And that's whenever she starts to focus on other things. But like for the longest time, she is just so hung up on like, where's Brad, where's Brad, where's Brad?
Get me my boyfriend. No, please get me my boyfriend.
Oh my God, you're Terry's crazy brother.
No, it's Terry who's crazy. He's killing people.
Yeah, right.
Todd really doesn't do much. He's just kind of like wandering around, is like picking up on his brother's tracks, like finding all the dead bodies his brother leaves behind. He tells a little girl to go inside and lock the doors.
And I think that you should go home too, because there's a bad person out here tonight, okay?
Okay.
He finds a gun to pick up, but never uses it. So now everybody's dead. The only people left are, you know, Mother Maggie, Terry, Todd, and girlfriend Karen, and neighbor baby that Karen has found and rescued because its parents got murdered. We get a fun little chase scene through the pool hall of Karen and the baby. Todd comes in.
What, are you gonna try and shoot me again, Todd?
And they start attacking in the pool. And then when all hope is lost, the mother comes in with a gun and then just goes psh, 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 psh. And I was so proud of her in that moment. I was so proud because I was like, wow. In any other movie, like, I would have expected her to like hesitate before killing her son, but she doesn't. I mean, not only does she just shoot him once, but she shoots him like 3 or 4 times. And I was also very proud of her for that, because we always know if you don't shoot them enough, the killer likes to come back. And so then she's just in hysterics with her live son now to Todd, and she's like, it's just us, baby.
I've hurt you so much.
It's just us, Terry, me and you, Terry. And he's like, Terry, I'm Todd. I'm Todd. I'm Todd.
It's just us, Terry. I'm Todd. I'm Todd. I'm Todd.
She's like, no, Terry.
No.
And and she realizes what she's done, because we didn't know this, but when she was shooting her son, the whole time she was thinking it was her crazy son, Todd, but no, she killed the son that she raised in her own home, Terry, and she hadn't realized that Terry was the psycho killer all along. And so she just can't cope with that fact, and she unalives herself, and that's the end of the movie. We have a scene where the mother is in the kitchen stress cleaning, and she throws something away, and she does like a double take in the trash can, and she slowly pulls up this striped t-shirt that's covered in blood that her son Terry had worn earlier that day at Thanksgiving dinner, but had changed out of after he had killed somebody and ruined it. And so I thought that was the moment of her realizing, oh my God, it's been the wrong son this whole time. The therapist is right. Terry is the killer. Maybe it was just a moment where she thought like, oh my God, he got my son. And maybe I misinterpreted it and I was just there to be the red herring, so by the end we would be surprised whenever she calls her son the wrong name. One thing that I really loved about this movie is the soundtrack. I mean, it just already from the start elevated itself from the other movie I watched earlier today, because it's just so much more dramatic when you have a good score to a movie. And this movie has really intense drums and it has like recurring themes.
Yo, Simmons, are you back here?
And that can really get me in and help build the suspense. The gore in this movie is also another big step up from that movie I watched earlier today. I mean, blood rage, they don't disappoint. There is blood in this movie, and a whole lot of it.
It's not cranberry sauce.
Some of my favorite scenes are whenever the neighbor woman opens the door and finds her date's head severed and strung up. I mean, it was so clearly like a handmade prop. It kind of looked like a silicone sex doll that we would have today with like wig hair. It didn't look real at all, but I freaking loved that head. And it was still disturbing nonetheless. Another one of my favorite scenes is
Mama's gonna get you a rich daddy.
we see that same neighbor woman later get stabbed in the chest, but then later on, whenever Karen runs into that house for refuge away from Terry, Terry pulls the knife out of her chest, and we just get a close-up of him taking the knife out of her chest, and then we just see like the cavity that the knife was in, and that was very unexpectedly gory and gross. I loved it. What was another one? Ooh! Whenever the mom, Maddie, goes to her fiance's place of work looking for him, she finds Brad and she moves his body, and it's revealed that his head was sliced in half and we see the inside of his brains. It's like the same scenario in the end, where it's blonde woman running away from a blade-wielding killer. Only in this movie, I actually was like having my heart in my throat watching Karen run around trying to hide this baby and hide herself, and like worrying that the baby was gonna cry in its hiding spot. I just think that was like a lot more suspenseful. I also liked that they actually cared about the children in this movie.
Angel, honey! Angel! Angel!
Karen was running for her life, saw an unattended baby, and out of the kindness of her heart was like, I need to rescue this baby from a serial killer. Like, it seems like the no-brainer thing to do, you know? I thought that the man who played the twins did a really good job distinguishing between each character. He physically embodied each brother differently, as well as with his voice and his mannerisms. I think he did a good job. I did think it was pretty funny though, the stunt doubles they had whenever the brothers would be in the same scene. They obviously just had a stunt double with like a trashy wig on, and that wig was so different from the actor's actual hair. Overall, I liked this movie so much more. I would rewatch this movie. I highly recommend it for anybody who wants a Thanksgiving horror to celebrate the holidays like me. You should go watch Blood Rage because it's freaking awesome. What is it with our two-worded blood movie titles like Blood Freak, Blood Rage? They're both so good. So this holiday, whenever you're together with your family, instead of putting on a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, why don't you put on a little bit of Blood Rage?
The turkey was perfect.
I would give this movie 8 out of 10 turkeys. Like, it's honestly so good. Hey, Terry. Hey, baby. Thanksgiving dinner was never served, and so poor little Angel is starving. She found her. She needs her time. Look at her.
Okay, I'll pet her.